Hola, Vanessa. I'm Steve Shepard, the faculty leader for Advanced Spanish for Valencia, and I'm going to briefly run through the program, and then you can let me know if you have any questions. We'll leave town on Monday, and we actually arrive in Madrid on Tuesday morning. We'll go directly to the hostel from the airport. All our transportation is by private bus. This is the hostel, Hostel Aguilar, and you can see the rooms have been recently remodeled. We're located right in the center, so this is La Puerta del Sol in the very center of Madrid, and then we're just a few blocks to the right of it. This part of town is very compact. We don't even use public transportation. We're able to walk around to everything. Okay, for the first day we have free time until the group dinner that night, and then the next day we start with our tours. All tours have a professional tour guide, and for the first day we'll do a walking tour of Madrid, and then we'll end up at the Spanish Royal Palace, which you're seeing here. It's got about 1,500 rooms, so we won't see everything. We'll see some of the highlights, such as the throne room and the dining hall. Okay, the next day is Thursday, and we will be in the Autonomous Community of Madrid. There's 17 autonomous communities. They're more or less congruent to states in the U.S. For Thursday, we're going to go to Toledo, and this is in Castilla-La Mancha, a different autonomous community. And this is a really well-preserved medieval city. We'll spend all day here. We'll do a walking tour. We'll visit a synagogue. We'll eat lunch at one of the restaurants, and then we'll do a tour of this cathedral here, and then there'll be a couple hours at the end of the day for students to explore on their own. This is another view of the cathedral, and this is what it looks like on the inside. There's one that's larger in Spain, but this is actually the richest in terms of what's inside of it, and it's a fascinating place to visit. Okay, on Friday we have two tours set up, so we'll go to El Escorial in the morning, and this is a building that Felipe II ordered built in the 15th century, and it's a number of things. It's a castle, it's a monastery, it's a school, it's a mausoleum, it's a library. And we won't see all of it, we'll see a lot of the highlights. For example, this is the library, and you can see a portrait of Felipe II right there. And this is a mausoleum where the majority of the Spanish kings are buried. This is actually one of the rooms. There's a series of rooms that we go through when we're visiting that part of the building. Okay, in the afternoon we'll go to El Valle de los Caídos, and this is a monument ordered built by Francisco Franco after the end of the Spanish Civil War. And it's controversial in Spain in that there was a lot of forced labor, used political prisoners after the end of the war, and there's about 30,000 Spaniards buried in, on, around, and about it. Francisco Franco was buried in there until 2019, and then they actually exhumed him and moved him to another century. So this is what it looks, another cemetery. And this is what it looks like on the inside. He was buried right here. So espantoso, it's a little bit scary. Okay, on Saturday, we'll take a private bus from Madrid to Valencia, which is about a 3.5-hour trip. And about halfway through, we'll stop by Alarcón, which it's a very small town, but it does have a palador, and we're looking at it right here. And this, palador is any historical building converted into a hotel. And in this case, it's a castle. So we'll take a look at that and explore the town and have lunch. And when we get to Valencia, we go directly to school, and the families are waiting for us, and we introduce the students to their homestay families, and then they take them home, and homestay begins. The next day is Sunday, and we have that day free, so you can explore the city if you like. Valencia is one of my favorite cities. So this green strip running through it is a park. It used to be a river, and it flooded in the 1950s, and they diverted it over to this side and converted it into a park. So it's got Biopark Zoo at this end. It's got City of Arts and Sciences at this end, which I'll talk about in just a minute. It's really popular for jogging, biking. They have fairs, a lot of different activities there. So this is one of my favorite parts of town. This is the historical center, and we'll do a walking tour of that on Monday with the school. This is the beach, and the school is located right about here, and they have a tram station right there, and it takes about 15 minutes. When I say tram, I mean an above-ground train. It takes about 15 minutes to get to from the school to the beach. And AIP will include an unlimited transportation card for all students, so that's for the metro, the tram, and for buses. Okay, on Monday, we start classes, and classes will be Monday through Thursday, 9 to 2. My class will be in the morning, and then there'll be an advanced conversation class with the AIP professors in the afternoon. And we'll do a walking tour on that first Monday in the afternoon, so everybody can get acquainted with that area. And this is La Fuente de la Virgen. We've got the cathedral right here. It's a really interesting part of town. This is El Palacio de Bellas Artes. It's an art museum, and we'll visit this as a group, and that ties into the material for my course. This is the Valencia History Museum, and I'm actually going to use this as a review for the final exam since it does a really good job of outlining Spain's history from a Valencian perspective. And it was actually built in, this is a reservoir, so it's where they used to keep their water, and the whole building looks like this, and they have the exhibits in between the arches. One thing I really like about AIP is every week they'll have different activities, and this is a flyer that they'll put up every week on the bulletin board showing what activities they have for the week. So this week it happened to be, there was a tapas fair in the neighborhood next to the school, so we met up and went to that. This restaurant's called Cien Montaditos, and they have dollar sandwiches, so we met up and went to that. This was a free concert at one of the bars. And then on the weekend, they always have something that's a little bit bigger, like a day trip. And these tend to cost money. In this case, it was 20 euros. This one was free. I mean, in this case, students bought whatever sandwich they wanted, and this was free as well. The activities on the weekend are usually 20, 25 euros, and they're always different. So in this case, we went to Játiva, which is a castle, and so we looked at that, and then Charcos, which it's kind of hard to see, but these are swimming holes in the mountains. On another weekend, for example, they had tickets to these attractions in the City of Arts and Sciences, which I mentioned previously when I was looking at the map. So this is actually a partial view. This is an IMAX theater. This is their science museum. This is an events center, and then on the other side of that is the biggest aquarium in Europe. Anyway, they offered, they had a ticket to the aquarium, to the science museum, and to the IMAX, all for $24. It had to be done in one day, 24 euros, excuse me. So that's another example of a weekend activity that they have at AIP. We do have 3-day weekends, so students often like to travel on the weekends, which is fine, just as long as they let me know where they're going. And they actually have a travel agency in AIP, which can help you set up any additional travel that you might want to do free of charge. Okay, and this is the beach. And this is one of my favorite parts of town. As I mentioned, it's just a 15-minute tram ride from the school. I wanted to mention that AIP is a very established school. We've had this study abroad program with them for over 20 years, and I was actually a participant as a grad student in 2003. I had a really good time. It was a really influential trip, and their homestay families, for instance, have typically been with them for years. So anyway, they're really well established. Their professors are great, and I really like working with them. Okay, well, that is an overview of the trip, so please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope that this is something you'll be able to participate in. And please feel free to contact me if you need any more information, and I'll also be happy to meet with you either on campus or via Zoom if you prefer. Okay, gracias. Adios.